Greetings and welcome to this session. This session is designed to show you how to use your Google Calendar in order to set up a virtual meeting. First, you want to ensure that you are logged into your district's calendar and not your personal calendar. Otherwise, when you send out your invitation, it will show up on your personal calendar and it will not come from your district email. Down here, you will see that I am connected to my shared calendar. Go to the date on which you want to have your meeting and double click using your left mouse button. This will now open an invitation pane. You will want to make sure that you give your meeting a title. Next, you want to ensure you have the correct meeting date. By default, all meetings are set to all day. You want to unclick this button. Now that this box is clear, you will see that meeting time show up. You want to go ahead and choose your meeting time. You also want to go ahead and change the end time. Next, you want to set a location for your meeting. Since this is a virtual meeting, I will not be adding a location. Instead, I'm adding conferencing. This conferencing will allow other persons to join the meeting via video conference or via telephone. Here you will see that it now says Join Hangouts Meet. For those who are using your district calendar, you will want to make sure that you have Hangouts installed on your machine. Here you will see that I have Google Hangouts installed on this machine. However, I am not currently logged into it. When you hit the down arrow, you will see the meeting ID as well as the phone number. This meeting ID will be included in your calendar invite, and persons can just simply click on this meeting ID and it will allow them to join the virtual meeting even if they do not have Hangouts installed on their computer. For those who are not using a computer or a cell phone to log into this, so please do not do this while you're driving, they can use the telephone number in order to call in and listen to the meeting. They will also be able to interact with the meeting. For those persons using a computer, they will need a microphone on the computer, and you will want to make sure that you test out your microphone settings prior to the meeting to make sure that persons can hear you. So then now that we've added the virtual meeting, we want to add notification. This notification will send a reminder to the person's computer before the meeting starts. Notification sends a pop-up, and email will send them an email. I do want them to have a pop-up 10 to 15 minutes before the meeting. And I'm going to add a notification so that they receive a notification 1 day before the meeting. If in our current times, to make sure that communication is constantly going out, now I want this notification to be an email. I want them to get an email 1 day prior to the meeting. I also want them to get an email 1 week prior to the meeting. So now they will have a pop-up notification 10 minutes prior to the meeting. Let's change that to 15. They will receive a notification pop up on their computer or their phone 15 minutes prior to the meeting. They will receive an email 10 days. Let's change that to 1 day. They will receive an email 1 day prior to the meeting. And if you would like, you can change that to 2 days so that they have a reminder. They will also receive an email 1 week prior to the meeting. Next, you want to put any notes that you want everybody to see. Please be reminded that since this is setting up a virtual meeting, that you will be adding your parent as a guest. So be mindful of what you write in your description box. Next, you want to add your guest. You will need your parent email in order to do this. You will set up the parent email and put it in here. If your parents do not have an email address, please be sure to include this telephone number on the meeting invitation as well as this meeting ID. You are welcome to copy and paste this information. So I'm going to use the clip. I'm going to click new clip. And this is the snipping tool that is built into the computer, I could use this in order to copy this information and then paste it into a Word document that I then send home with my meeting invitation. So that is another way of getting this information out to your parents. So back to here, I added my guest, I added my parent, and now I'm going to hit save. Would you like to send invitation emails to Google Calendar? Yes, I do want to send it, so I'm going to hit send. Next, typically, if you are working with your district email, then it will ask if you want to send emails to external guests, and you will go ahead and click yes. So we're going to go through that one more time. Double click on the preferred meeting date, add a meeting title. Choose the meeting time. If for some reason you clicked on the wrong date, you will be able to see it here. If you need to change your date without going back, click on this box and you'll be able to move the date. Set your meeting start time and end time. Add conferencing. If for some reason you have persons in your building that will meet face to face, you can go ahead and add a location. To ensure this information goes out to your parent, make sure you copy the meeting ID and the phone number. Control C. That meeting ID and phone number will allow you to paste that information into a Word document and send that information home with your meeting invitation. Ensure that your meeting is on your shared EC calendar, whatever name that calendar has. Add notifications. I recommend 2 days. And I also recommend 1 week. Add your guests to the meeting, including the parent. These permissions allow your guests to modify your event, invite others, or see guest lists. Please make sure you do not click modify event, because then that will allow all persons that are invited to modify the date and time of this invitation. Add your description. Or whatever description you decide to put there. Parents may decide to call in, they may decide to do a virtual meeting, whichever they choose. You do want to make sure that however persons meet, that you document that on your prior written notice as well as in your minutes, as well as on your IEP as well. Forgive me, I left that out. And I hit save. I do want to send it to my guests. And now you will see that my meeting invitation has been created. This is how you create a virtual meeting using your Google Calendar.